Good evening, and welcome to the September 12th, 2018 special legislative session of the Town Board. Tonight, we are going to share with our residents the 2019 tentative budget, which will become our preliminary budget. And a lot of hard work has gone into this, and I'm delighted to say that with the assistance of all of our department heads, our Director of Finance, we have put together a budget that I believe is a budget that will continue our services across the town, uninterrupted from what we've seen in 2018. Additionally, it reflects the fact that we did acquire the Shadow Pines property. That was a piece of property that was overwhelmingly voted for and supported by our residents. However, through a lot of hard work by our department heads, we look for ways to continue to improve and streamline government in Penfield and look for creative ways in order to address our budget. It was also assisted and supported with higher than expected revenues, and our finance director will get into that in a little bit more detail. And this budget also includes money for 2019 to provide maintenance for the Shadow Pines property itself. We have done work at that location to date. I'm very proud to say we've done that all fill-in work. We have expended very little, what I'll call dollars outside the door to do that work, and our DPW crews have been fabulous in fitting that in and around different projects, either for drainage, highways, sewers, and things like that. And our goal for 2018, between now and year end, is to work to get the former back nine opened as well. And again, we'll do that with our crews. So I'm delighted to say that through a lot of hard work, I believe we have a great story. I'm going to ask our Finance Director, Barbara Churdo, who has guided us through this process again this year, and all the hard work that she has put forth on that. And Barbara, thank you as always, and the floor is yours. And I'm reminded before we get started, because I was so excited about this budget, I apologize. I just forgot about our normal protocols before we start our meetings. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask everyone here to please rise for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I'll ask our clerk if, for the record, if she'd please call the roll.
Cole. Here. LaFountain.
Here.
Metzler.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Quinn.
Here. Okay, now, after all of that warm-up and lead-in, I will now officially turn it over to our Finance Director, Ms. Churdo.
Thank you. And as the supervisor stated, I'm here to give an overview of the tentative budget for 2019. Again, just an overview. We'll get into more detail at the preliminary hearing on October 3rd. So before I delve into too much of the detail, I just wanted to remind people of where your property tax dollar really goes. As you can see from this pie chart, the smallest percentage is actually your town taxes, which accounts for about 8% of what people pay in property taxes annually. And if you think about it, with that 8%, you really get the day-to-day services that residents come to rely on, be it the aspects of public safety and, of course, our Public Works Department, our library, our Recreation Department. So your tax dollar goes pretty far in the town of Penfield. And if you think about it, it's also what you're paying in town taxes is just a fraction of what most families spend on cable and internet each month. And you get a lot more for it. So for the 2019 tentative budget for fiscal year, we are looking at $20,259,606 as our appropriations. This is an increase of approximately $1.1 million. But as part of that increase, as the supervisor mentioned, we have the debt service associated with the acquisition of the former Shadow Pines property. We are also, as we continue to look ahead for 5 to 6 years, focusing on our infrastructure as well as our equipment. So we will be purchasing a road sweeper, large plow trucks, as well as some light-duty equipment, and also investing in our infrastructure. Although there is an increase in the appropriations, the resulting tax levy net is $368,798. This is, again, well below what is allowed under New York State's tax levy cap. That is an annual threshold that we have to be below unless we choose to override, which in the town of Penfield, we have never done so. So as far as how the budget dollar is distributed, given that we are a service industry and here to serve the residents of Penfield, payroll and benefits account for the largest percentage of the budget dollar. Next, behind that is our contractual expenditures. And then after that is we have equipment. What I want to focus on is equipment and capital outlay. That was increased for 2019. It went up by 1.2% of the overall distribution of the dollar. And that is due to an additional funding of $300,000 for capital and infrastructure improvements. The major department distributions in the town, as always, Public Works is in the lead at $8.1 million. As we're all well aware, Public Works is responsible for all our facilities, all our parks, all our roadways, all our sewers, our sidewalks, just about every aspect of our daily lives. And our wonderful Penfield Public Library, and our library director is here tonight with us, they're right behind at $1.9 million. And our recreation department, another popular area for all our residents, is at $937,332. As I had mentioned, the equipment and capital outlay was increased for the 2019 tentative budget. Those appropriations now total nearly $1.7 million. And that, again, is for heavy-duty equipment, playground equipment, infrastructure, including our road program, sidewalks, sewer, pump station improvements, and the like. As far as our taxable valuation, Penfield continues to be a town in which people not only want to live, but they also want to invest in their property. So we are now approaching $3.2 billion, which in the growth and planned development. That's an increase over last year's taxable value of 1.38%. This is a summary of the tentative general governmental budget. Again, the general governmental funds are comprised of the general fund, the highway fund, and the library fund. As you see, the appropriations for the total general governmental is at $17.3 million, with the estimated revenues coming in at just about $7.9 million. There is a fund balance contribution from the general fund as well as from the highway restricted fund balance, which is set aside for equipment purchases. And there's also a contribution from the library fund. Those three total $552,000. Therefore, the resulting tax levy is about $8.88 million, and with our taxable value of $3.2 billion, our anticipated tax rate for 2019 will be $2.78. To break that down, for an average house valued at $190,000, your general governmental portion of your tax bill will equate to $528.20. Comparing that to 2018, there is an increase, but broken down over the year, it's $1.42 per month. And as I mentioned, how much we're getting for our 2019 budget and continuing with all the wonderful services we already offer. As far as our non-tax revenues, as the supervisor mentioned, there are some definite positive trends in the economy. We're looking at $8 million in non-tax revenue, which is an increase over 2018, which is a 7.1% increase in our estimate. Sales tax has been very strong, investments have been strong, so we've been very fortunate in the economy. However, I always say this and every year that this is the side of the equation that we have minimal control over, so we always are conservative in our revenue estimates. as opposed to, on the appropriation side, we have much more control, but this side is a little more volatile, so it always pays to be conservative. As moving on to some special districts, we have our sanitary sewer operation and maintenance per unit estimated to be $45.68, and the debt service per residential unit will be $60.82. That combined rate is $106.50. That is a decrease from 2018 of approximately 80 cents for the residential home. Continuing with the special districts, our special drainage district, our special lighting district, as well as our intensified lighting district, those rates are anticipated to stay flat once again for 2019. As you'll see, a typical household in our drainage district pays $38.80. Our lighting district's at $11.21, and in the intensified lighting district, that's $24.59 per parcel. Additional special districts include our townwide consolidated water, which ends up being 52 cents for the average homeowner. Within the Thomas Cove Water District, there's a portion of the water budget that is associated with that, and the homeowners in that district pay approximately $275 per average homeowner. Oops. Once again, we will be collecting on behalf of the ambulance districts located in the town of Penfield. For ambulance district number 1, we are looking at a rate per thousand of approximately 2 cents. That ends up being $4.08 per average homeowner. For the ambulance district number 2, which is the northeast quadrant, that rate per thousand will be approximately 1 cent, which ends up being $2.38 per average homeowner. Once again, we collect this levy on their behalf. It is not part of our operating budget. Every dime we collect is turned over to the ambulance districts for their operations. This slide that's a little tougher to read is the budget summary for all the operating funds, and we are looking at, as I said, $20.2 million for our appropriations, revenues at approximately $8 million overall. Our fund balance contribution from across all funds totals $577,138, therefore leaving a tax levy of approximately $11.7 million. Again, our levy is well below what New York State is allowing us for 2019, so we're happy to report that. And we once again continue with great services and are going to be focusing on our infrastructure as always.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So as our finance director completes her presentation on this tentative budget, as I'd mentioned, this will become our preliminary budget. It is now up and officially able to be viewed on our website at penfield.org. Thank you to the magic of technology. A lot more detail as it relates to the budget by department, and all the detail that you may want to take a look at. At this point, we always like to offer that if anyone has any questions, please refer to our website at penfield.org to take a look at that. You can go over to our library, and a copy of that will be at the library for review. Copies in the town clerk's office, and would encourage anyone that if they would like to speak with the finance director or myself, we would be happy to entertain any questions, email, phone call, or if you'd like to make an appointment to come in, and we would sit down and go over any aspect of the budget that you would like. The next steps in the budget process is that we will be, at our last town board meeting, we scheduled a public hearing, not only for our budget, but for our special districts as well. That will be held on October 3rd at 7 p.m. in this room. Between now and then, it's a time to review the budget. At the public hearing, anyone can come in and address the board on any matter as it relates to the budget, to talk about concerns, issues, anything like that. The board will take that, and between essentially the 3rd and the 17th, the board will make any final adjustments to the budget. The budget can be adjusted in a downward position. The budget cannot be adjusted in an upward position at this point. And the board will look to adopt the budget by the middle of October, on the 17th of October. We'll file it with the county and the state as required by law, and then that will be our 2019 roadmap for spending and revenue for the town of Penfield. So with that, that is the initial presentation. Thank you again to Barbara. Bonnie, thank you. Bernadette Brinkman, our librarian, who is faithfully comes to every one of our presentations on the budget. Thank you, Bonnie, for everything you do and the work that your team did putting together the 2019 budget. Okay, with that said, we will move on through this agenda, and then we'll look to move into our work session. And I will ask the board, are there any communications and announcements, board, this evening? Seeing none. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Again, seeing none, we have no minutes to approve. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board on any matter? Okay, seeing none. Petitions, has the board, town clerk, or town attorney received any petitions since our last get-together? Okay, thank you. There are no resolutions to come before the board at this point. Therefore, I'll ask, is there any old business? Seeing none. Is there any new business? Again, seeing none. One last shout out. Is there any public participation to address the board on any matter? Again, seeing none, I will thank you for everyone that attended. I will declare the September 12, 2018 special legislative session of the town board adjourn at 7:16 p.m. We'll take about a 2-minute recess. We'll flip our chairs and ourselves to the back of the room, and we'll pick up with our work session. Thank you very much.